Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're doing a discussion talking about Doom of Dimensions. This is the next core set coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! After Duelist Advance. The OCG has had Duelist Advance for like a month now. We are 2 months away from this set coming out in the OCG, which means that we're kind of about to walk into the main reveal season for this set. We only really have the cover support revealed, which is the DDD support. Pretty good looking stuff. But that means we still have like over 70 cards left to be revealed for the product. And that means there's a lot of stuff to fit in here. And like most core sets, you can kind of look at stuff that's come out pretty recently and you can kind of guesstimate actually a good portion of what this set is going to look like. So that's what we're going to talk about today, our kind of like expectations, not even really predictions because they're pretty obvious, I think, for the most part. Predictions would be more like crazy stuff. We're just talking about the stuff that I do really expect to be here because there is quite a bit of stuff. I even have some maybes kind of at the end that like could make sense, but they're not guaranteed like I feel like this first category is going to feel. And we're going to take it one bit at a time. If at the end of this video you felt like I missed something that actually feels like very likely that it's going to be in the set, feel free to throw that down in the comment section below. I'm only human. I'm doing all this by myself, so it's super fair if something slips through the cracks for me. But let's get into this thing. Let's get talking about Doom of Dimension. So first up for me is going to be a second archetype to join the Medius, the Innocent lore. This guy seems to be the newest main character in lore. Recently, we've seen Diabellstar. Prior to her, we have seen Visa Starfrost. Prior to him, we had seen what was prior to him? Is that Albaz? Was Visa Starfrost right after Albaz lore? I think he might have been. Albaz and Ecclesia, right? And we'll get to them later. But this is the new guy, right? We got the first archetype last set in Duelist Advance, Artmesia. And, once they start a new lore, it really feels like every set you can expect a brand new archetype to come out that's tied in with that lore. Don't know what it is yet, but I'm kind of excited to see it. Artmesia is cool. It doesn't really appeal to me personally, but I feel like every lore has at least one archetype that I love. So we'll see where they end up there. Next up, Artmesia itself. Can't ignore this. It's a brand new archetype. Normally when this happens, especially in lore, like new lore archetypes, you're going to get an archetype. And then in the next core set or two or even three sometimes, you can expect a card, 1 to 3 cards that help support that even more. Because Artmesia has a decent start, a lot of consistency, some pretty individually decent cards. But still feels like it could use a little more oomph to kind of get all the way there. So that's kind of what we'd be looking for in this second wave here. Like I said, 1 to 3-ish cards, and I think sounds pretty fair. Next up, we have a follow-up to the Utopia support. Konami's just been on this roll. This is something we expect in every core set now, is whatever the cover support was from the core set prior, we expect 1 to 2 more cards in the next core set. They've done that over and over and over again. Last set, I think, had the Evil Hero card to follow up on Phantom Darkness. No, wait. What am I thinking of? The Evil Hero card was in... oh my god, why am I blanking on that name? But whatever. So whatever came out in... What's in Duelist Advance? What's the follow-up support for Duelist Advance? Whatever. Bottom line, it is what it is. Like, it's not even that important. But Utopia is the cover support for Duelist Advance. I expect 1 or 2 more cards to follow up, which is actually kind of nice because we're already seeing in the OCG, like, as a decent rogue option, we've seen Pure Utopia actually get a couple of tops every Road to the King. We've also seen Utopia as an engine be splashed with the somewhat depleted via the ban list Ryziel deck. So actually some room to actually like have some impact there. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on that. Next up, you move to Regenesis. Cool archetype. I will say I was very, very disappointed with the second wave. We got like a new spell and a new trap, and I think outside of specific utility, these cards really do not impact the archetype. They really just don't make it better in my eyes. And the archetype had such a cool start to it, and I'm a little upset that they didn't really capitalize on it with the first wave. Luckily, like I said, when a new archetype comes out, a lot of times they'll go 2 sets with little waves of support. So hopefully there's 1 or 2 more cards here that just help push Regenesis a little bit further. Next up, Fallen of Albaz, or just Albaz lore, you call it Ecclesia lore, whatever. Konami has already come out and said that at this point we will be getting their anime shorts for the Alabaz Ecclesia lore, and that they plan on releasing new cards for the archetype. So it's probably like branded slash Dogmatica support. Really depends on which direction they choose to go, right? We just got the Sky Striker stuff in Duelist Advanced for their anime debut, and we expect to see some stuff here. Not sure if it's going to be full on branded support. Not sure if it's going to be Dogmatica support. Not sure if they're going to split and give both some new tools. No idea, but still exciting for people who are fans because those are two pretty popular archetypes for sure. Tactical Tridecks. I think based on the timeline for when the Tactical Tridecks are getting released here, I actually do expect this to maybe be the set where we get some indirect support for Exosister. They did this last year with the Cyber Dragon, Eldritch, and what was the third archetype? Live Twins. They made cards that aren't direct support, so I don't expect like a new Exosister card, but is there some generic Exceed support card? Is there some generic Spellcaster support card? Is there some Graveyard Hate card that pairs well with Exosister? Any of those things I think make sense there. And in that same vein, of course, we have to mention Rescue Ace at the same time, right? Not an exact Rescue Ace card, but something that has good synergies, probably like Fire support or Fire Warrior, Fire Machine support, something that's pretty decent there. I would not be shocked to see. And the final thing that I do expect, that these are all things that I expect like pretty firmly. Like if any of these things weren't in this set, I would kind of be surprised. And the last thing is Justice Hunters, right? Last set in Duelist Advance, we got like the non-direct support. There's like the new fusion monster that works really well with Draco Tail. There is the rank 5 Sky Blaster guy who works for Canine, and the new Link 2 Light Beast that has good synergy with the Yummy archetype. So they all got their indirect support, but in this set, I expect one or two more cards for each of them. All three have real, like legit competitive chops. So we're not looking for any support that's like crazy here, but maybe good utility and help covering up like small gaps in these archetypes would be nice, but nothing out of this world is kind of what we're hoping for. So that's everything that I like expect. If any of these things were not there, I would kind of be shocked. But now let's get into the maybe category, which, a lot of these have been off and on. The first thing I have to mention is a fourth Mulcharmy. We've seen water, we've seen wind, we've seen earth. If they're going to complete this, avatar cycle and they're going to get a fire one in here, this could easily be the set where it happens. Again, this is such a maybe because Meows came out. When did Meows come out? Meows is in Supreme Darkness, so like we've already gone 2 core sets without a new Mulcharmy, so it's possible we're just not getting a fourth. But normally when we're getting stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh that is hitting all of the like those elemental attributes, the Avatar 4, they finish the cycle. So I expect it at some point still, just don't know if it's in this core set, especially after they've gone 2 without anything. Kind of similar area for the Dominus cards. I know this card isn't technically a Dominus card, but it has synergy with them. It's kind of part of their lore. But we got it Purge, then we got Impulse kind of immediately after, went 1 or 2 core sets without anything, then we got Songs of the Dominators, and then we got nothing in Duelist Advance. So again, we're kind of in this weird spot where it's like it's totally possible. It is a weird spot just because both the Dominus cards lock you out of 3 of each of the main attributes in Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's like there wouldn't be another one to lock you out of those, but we could just see another card that is Songs of the Dominators-esque, where it's not super generic like the first 2 can be, but it's more so like it works with them in a very, very, a deck that works with those restrictions that might be heavy for most decks, actually could see some potential, and then you can run like a full 12 card Dominus lineup potentially. But we'll see. Just something to keep in mind because they have still made new cards like this guy, and just making sure. We can't rule out the possibility of a brand new archetype that is just not Artmesia lore. I don't think we got one in Duelist Advance. I think the only new archetype was Artmesia. So I would not be shocked at all if there's a brand new archetype. Kind of, I think Argo Star otherwise was like kind of the more recent, one of the more recent ones there, and Regenesis, I think. But just wouldn't be surprised if we get an Artmesia new archetype and some other just random one. So just keep an eye out for that. This could be a heavier new archetype set, because a lot of times Konami will be like, oh, we'll only do 1 in this set, but that means we're going to do 2 or 3 in the next one. Would not be surprised if that's the case. The Morganite stuff. kind of similar to Dominus, kind of similar to Mulcharmies, is not every core set we've gotten in the last year has a Morganite support card in it, but they'll do one or two cards, and then they'll go a core set with nothing. Then we'll get another one. We just got the Morgana and the last or the most recent of the new spells, and they finally got a monster. It seemed like this monster really helps them like kind of round it out into an actual like mini archetype. I would not be upset if they keep expanding on this, but do it in good ways. I don't necessarily want this archetype to just end up being like a really grimy, slimy, like stun deck, but like there is some engine potential here for sure, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. And lastly is Primite. I think Primite has already. I don't know if it has already gone all the way through it, but sometimes there are exceptions to the rule where like an archetype will get like more than just two core sets of like bonus support after their initial release in a core set. And I think I want to say this is the third set after their initial release, for where they got the Primite Fusion and the new Fusion Monster and stuff. But it's also weird because it's just this new generic engine, and it's seen play in multiple different decks, and it has some exploitability in multiple strategies, and it's kind of like the resurgence of some normal monster play in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, which is really cool. So I'm not surprised that Konami's kind of been going deeper on Primite than they have on other recent archetypes. I just wouldn't lay it out. I just wouldn't like lay it out of possibility. So it's in the maybe category again. Like I don't like fully expect it 100%, but I would not be shocked if there's another one or two more Primite cards and they just keep going, because it's cool for people to like play Blue Eyes in their deck and it to work. For people to play Dark Magician in their deck with the new support and it work, and like Primate being a cool tool to work with those and other decks as well. So yeah, I think this one's cool, and this is kind of the last one of my maybe category right there. So those are kind of my expectations. Those are the stuff that I really expect, paired with the stuff that I'm like half and half on. If it's there, cool. If it's not there, whatever. You can obviously get into a super vague discussion from there and be like, oh, well, there'll be another board breaker like Gordian Slicer. There'll be another generic hand trap. We haven't gotten one in a couple sets. That's all possible, but that's just so toss up that like at least these have a little more basis, right? Because of what we've seen from recent core sets and what they can kind of hint at. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if I missed anything, let me know down below. Also, based on these, expectations, are you really excited for Doom of Dimensions? Are you not? Let me know your thoughts down below. If a lot of this set is taken up by the stuff we talked about today, would you be happy with that or not? Throw that down there. But I'm out of here today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more stuff from me down the line. Sorry, uploads have been a little bit slow lately. We've just been in a super standstill with news, which is fine because it means they're probably going to start to pick up sooner than later and get a little more exciting. But, I also just haven't been like super into the format recently. I don't really have a deck that I've really been loving. So I'm kind of waiting till Battles of Legend, where I'm going to have a couple cool new options to mess around with. But we'll come back around for sure. So look forward to new uploads. Subscribe to the channel for more stuff from me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.